How's it going, everyone? Doe here, and I haven't really made a Iceborne build video in a long time, so today I have two builds using Iceborne and the new Discipline Cell just to make it a bit more easy to get Iceborne activated and to take advantage of other cells at the same time. So today's builds are basically all about face tanking. I have a sword build and an axe build because those two weapons have the ability to face tank attacks and be unstaggered if you do certain things to have that happen. So the first build is going to be about the sword. And in this build, we're going to have the Rezakiri Katana, which is now called Call of Dawn. So it's a Rezakiri sword, which has +3 cunning and a 10% chance for attacks to hit twice. Now for the special, we have Ardent Cyclone. I pretty much never use this special, but I wanted to make an exception because in this build, we'll be using the mod called Adhesive Hilt. Adhesive Hilt is where you become unstaggable while in special, and Ardent Cyclone is where you spin like a freaking Beyblade for a long time, and at the end of that Beyblade you can use your special again to do an overhead slash, which is pretty cool. You can also boop, which is really awesome. Now for my gear, I'll have the Light's Crown, which is the Reza helmet, the Boreas chest piece, Boreas gloves, and the Boreas feet. So luckily Boreas is not as big of a pain to fight, so it shouldn't be that hard getting this kind of gear, so that's kind of a big plus for this kind of build. And then for the lantern, we're going to have Drask's Eye, because why not? You can also pick whatever lantern you want to. I'm going with Drask's Eye because for Ardent Cyclone, attack speed's not a very good addition, and having Drask's Eye gives you damage for the instant cast, and extra damage means you get more healing from Iceborne. Which, anyway, the perks for this build are going to be Berserker +6, +6 Conduit, +6 Cunning, Iceborne, Rage, and then +3 Aetheric Attunement with +3 Discipline. So you don't really need to have a lot of Discipline in this build. I only have +3 because all I want is to have that effect where your health is limited to 50% of your max health. That's all I want. And keep in mind, when you're using Discipline and Berserker, the two don't really have the best interaction at the moment. It's kind of a buggy state where if you're using Berserker and Discipline, you'll have more health than intended until you get hit like once or twice. So if you're using Berserker and Discipline, just get hit like once and you should be good after that and you won't have any problems. So the reason why this build's pretty fun for me is because you're using Iceborne and you're also using a Beyblade special and unstackable health. So when you're in special, you can't be staggered, and you're also healing yourself with Iceborne for the duration. You're also taking less damage because of Iceborne, so you can just be a Beyblade and just, play the game a bit differently than you normally would, which is kind of a nice feeling. And also, for most behemoths, you can actually do this kind of playstyle. I wouldn't suggest this kind of build in Heroic Plus because those behemoths hit pretty hard and you'll probably die if you use this build in there, especially to like slam attacks and stuff like that. So I was playing against mostly level 15 behemoths and some like 13s, and that's what this build's going to do the best in, to where you won't get one shot for the most part. Some things will still kill you, but other things will not. And then for our axe build, we'll have the Thundering Scythe, which is just the Drask Axe, and this will give you 30% damage versus behemoth heads, which is a pretty good modifier. Not the best, but I chose this weapon because it has a defense slot, and I need that for Iceborne. And then for the special, we'll have Grim Onslaught. That's the best axe special, hands down. And then for the mod, we have Volatile Axe Core. For this, you can pick your own, your own mod you want. You can pick Volatile Axe Core, Overcharged Cylinder, Lightweight Haft, whatever the deal. But for the armor, I'm going to have Rezakiri Helmet, Drask Chest Piece, and then the Boreas Gloves and Feet with the Emberbane's Rapture. In this build, you want to have attack speed just because for the axe, the way it becomes a face tank weapon with Iceborne is if you're using your Resolve. Resolve is whenever you charge your axe swings to the third swing and you glow this like gold color. During that, you'll have Resolve where you still take damage, but you won't be staggered. And if you want to keep in this window for longer, once you proc Resolve, do not swing for a little bit and you'll be in the window for longer, for up to I think maybe 3 or 2 seconds or something like that. So if you proc Resolve and then swing instantly, you'll lose Resolve. And that is why people will normally get hit. And people always ask me, how come your Resolve lasts so long? I wait to attack if I know the behemoth is going to attack me first. That's the way you do it. And this kind of build is mostly fun for me on behemoths like Valimir, because Valimir doesn't have the fastest attack pattern, but you can use this build to sort of just face tank everything. You can time it really easily. You have enough attack speed to where you can just either use your special to absorb a hit, or you can just use your charge attacks and proc Resolve and then absorb the hits that way. So I like this build on Valimir a lot because Valimir itself is kind of it's a fight that doesn't feel the best in some cases, getting hit by lasers like left and right. So this sort of helps me offset that kind of stuff from happening. but it's also really fun on SharkzzzHD and other behemoths like that. And that is actually the end of the video, guys. If you liked it, be sure to leave a like and comment down below which build you like the most and which weapon you like the most for face tanking. And also, I know y'all like Iceborne, which is why I want to make this kind of video. I also want to include the new style called Discipline, so we did that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys like this video and you want to support the content I create, you can do that by using my Epic Games Supercard code in the Epic Games Store or in the in-game Dalton store when making purchases. Every purchase you make, I'll get a small kickback, and it helps out a ton. So thank y'all for doing that. And also, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.